Early position stuff was complicated until I found the formula. In a moment we'll talk about why it works, but let's look at the formula itself. You only need to remember one set of hands, just one thing. Ace King, Ace Queen suited, and a pair of eights. Put it in poker tracker notation there at the bottom. Remember that set of hands, because that is the basics for your pre-flop play in early position. It will help you understand how to play the first four seats. We start with Ace King offsuit, Ace Queen suited, and a pair of eights because it covers each of the hand ranks: offsuit, suited, and pairs. And because it's your opening range under the gun in a 9-handed game. But it wouldn't be a formula if it were just a set of hands to play in one position. So under the gun, Ace King offsuit, Ace Queen suited, and a pair of eights. Under the gun +1, Ace Queen offsuit, Ace Jack suited, and a pair of sevens. Under the gun +2, Ace Jack offsuit, Ace 10 suited, and a pair of sixes. I think you see a pattern developing here. We drop by one hand rank each seat. So all you need to remember is the first one: Ace King offsuit, Ace Queen suited, and a pair of eights. Then you look at how many positions you are from under the gun for the first four positions. This is in a 9 or 10-handed game. And that's the number of hand ranks that you can drop. So you don't need to memorize under the gun +1, +2, or +3. You just remember the first set of hands. I'm going to keep saying it. Ace King offsuit, Ace Queen suited, a pair of eights. If you remember that one set of hands and how the formula works by dropping one hand rank in each type of hand per seat for the first four seats, that works perfectly. The reason that this formula works and that we know it works is because I have a database of over 6 million hands from 7 different pros, including myself, all of whom were significant winners in online no-limit hold'em cash games. We looked at which hands could be made profitable, and those were the hands we found. And there was one guy who made one extra hand profitable. There were a couple guys who couldn't make one or two of these hands profitable. But in general, these were the hands, and I thought it was interesting in these first four positions how that worked. So this formula will keep you out of trouble. Now, if you're playing live cash games or you're playing smaller games, you may think you can play a few more hands, but the fact is you're probably playing whatever games you can reasonably beat. That's the games that we were all playing. We were beating these games pretty hard. So if you're playing a game that's softer than the games we were playing, don't open up your hand range, because relative to your skill, it may be a similar game. And even the very best players cannot make many more hands than this profitable. In particular, in live games where the games are much softer, but the rake is much higher. And so you can't get away with playing as many hands, because when you win a pot, you lose all that rake. So with 6 million hands, 7 strong players, I've also asked a number of pros what they think about these starting hands. It's in my book. We know that this formula is very close to the right thing to do, both in terms of game theory optimal as well as in practical playing situations. So we know this formula is a good solid way to play in early position. We also ran the math on these. It makes sense that we would drop, or as we drop a percentage of the remaining players, we add a percentage of the remaining hands, but it doesn't work all the way through. So all you have to remember: Ace King suited, Ace Queen offsuit, and a pair of eights.